Today we are here to discuss about the chapter electrochemistry, and we are going to take the topic electrolytic conductance. Actually, we know conductors are the substances which conduct electricity, and there are two types of conductors. One is called electronic conductors, which conduct electricity because of electrons, because of presence of free electrons, and they are present in metals. So these electronic conductors are also considered as metallic conductors. Then second, we have electrolytic conductors. These are the substances which are called electrolytes, which dissociate into their ions in their aqueous solution or in molten state and conduct electricity. So this topic we have to take up. First of all, now we have to focus on electrolytic conductors, means we have to discuss how the electrolytes conduct electricity and what are the factors which can affect their conduction. So electrolytic conductors, as I told, the substance which conduct electricity because of ions. So how much electricity an electrolytic conductor can conduct depends on certain factors. First, nature of electrolyte. Electrolytes are the substances which dissociate into their ions, and we have two types of electrolytes. One is called strong electrolyte, which are completely dissociated in their aqueous solution, and we have weak electrolyte which conduct or which dissociate less. So since strong, I am telling you factors affecting electrolytic conduction. The first, nature of electrolyte. The strong electrolytes which dissociates completely have more ions and conduct more electricity. Second, when we get the ions, so conduction also depends on the size of ions. And size of ions means if we have small size ions, they conduct more electricity. We have large size ions, they conduct less electricity. The size of ions also depends on their solvation, means with how much amount of solvent they are surrounded by. If the ions are more solvated, more surrounded by water molecule or solvent, they become larger in size and they conduct less electricity. Third, it also depends on nature of solvent. If we have a polar solvent like water, polar solvent means like water I am telling, and water which has charges on its molecule. So this is called polar solvent. So this polar solvent, in the polar solvent, electrolyte ionizes more, so conduct more electricity. And in a non-polar solvent like benzene, alcohol, electrolyte dissociate less, so it conducts less electricity. Next, it depends on concentration of solution. Concentration of solution in general, if we have a dilute solution, means more solvent, less ions, they conduct more electricity. A concentrated solution conducts less electricity. And the last but not the least, this is temperature. In case of electrolytic solutions, if we increase the temperature, electrolyte dissociates more, provides more ions, and they conduct more electricity. So these are 5 factors which affect the conduction. Now what next? We have to talk. Electrolytes conduct electricity because they produce ions. Now we have to find how much electricity they can conduct. We have to find in what terms we can find the amount of conduction they show, the amount of electricity they can conduct. So we have 4 different ways to find the conduction, that how much electricity they can conduct. In this regard, first of all, we have conductance. Actually, in every conductor which conduct electricity, there is resistance which tries to stop the conduction of electricity. So when we talk about conductance, means resistance stops conduction of electricity, and conductance means कि now how much electricity can be conducted. So both are reciprocal to each other. So that's why the very first concept is conductance, and conductance is to be called as reciprocal of resistance. Mathematically, it can be represented as conductance is equals to 1 upon resistance. This is unique, no doubt, because resistance is ohm. So conductance we get ohm inverse or mho we can call, and this is also called as Siemens. Now next, we have to talk about conductivity. This is another way in which we can find that an electrolyte, how much electricity it can conduct. So like every substance has resistance, so there is every substance which have resistivity as well. Resistivity. So when we say conductivity, so conductivity is called as reciprocal of resistivity, and like conductance is reciprocal of resistance, so conductivity is the reciprocal of resistivity. So these are the two terms in which we can find that how much electricity an electrolyte can conduct. And these two, that is conductance and conductivity, they are related to each other also. How they are related? Now we know one thing. For every conductor, resistance is directly proportional to L. In case of electrolytic solutions, what do we find? The length of the solution. Length of the solution means, what do we say? That if we have a solution here, that is an electrolyte, no doubt we have to take an aqueous solution of the electrolyte, and to conduct electricity we have to place the two metal rods which are connected with battery. So here, in case of electrolytic solution, L stands for distance between two metal plates in the solution, and A stands for cross section area. Cross section area means how much cross section area of these plates are dipped into the solution. So R is proportional to L. Simple, more distance between the two metal rods, more resistance. R is inversely proportional to area, means more area, less resistance. So we get R is proportional to L upon A, or R is equals to, we call it as rho into L upon A. Rho stands for resistivity. So after this, we get 1 upon rho is equals to 1 upon R into L upon A. 1 upon rho is called as kappa. 1 upon rho is called as C into L upon A, where L upon A is called as cell constant. And why do we call it as a cell constant? Why it is cell constant? Because in an electrolytic cell, the distance between two metal rods will remain constant, and the area of metal rods dipped into the solution will also be constant. That's why this is called cell constant. I repeat, for every electrolytic cell, distance between two metal rods remains constant, and the cross section area of the two metal rods remains same. You change the solution, doesn't matter, but the distance and cross section area remains the same. So this is, now the next is there, if you want to get the conduction, means how much electricity electrolyte can conduct, we have another way, this is called molar conductivity. And in very brief, in very short, in very easy language, we can say molar conductivity is the conducting power of all the ions when 1 mole of electrolyte is dissolved in given volume of solution. 1 mole of electrolyte in given volume of solution. Further, you can say the distance between the two rods must be unit, and their cross section area will also must be unit. Mathematically, molar conductivity lambda m can be represented as kappa into 1000 upon molarity, where its unit can be Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. This is the last way. How can you find? This is called equivalent conductivity. And this is again brief. Conducting power of all the ions when 1 gram equivalent. Here we dissolved 1 mole of electrolyte. Here we dissolved 1 gram of equivalent of electrolyte is dissolved in given volume of solution. And we get lambda PQ is equals to kappa into 1000 upon normality. Here we use the molarity of solution for molar conductivity, C to it. And here in this we use normality of the solution to get this equivalent conductivity. This is unit Siemens centimeter square equivalent inverse. So this is something about electrolytic conductors, the factors which how do they affect the conduction, and how can you measure the conduction or conductance of an electrolytic solution. Thank you for today.